Canadian. This is the first thing that I used. A bit of real examples on how things are happening in army. This is a 6:30 a.m. morning. I got a message and then a call that in 30 minutes I should give 2 people from my battery that will go for explosives expert training. So this is the guys that will clear the lethal litter. Yes, the bombs. What is left from Russia? And so how you just imagine these 2 people, they will just you will change their life. Yes, because it's too dangerous. They really should like what they will do. So but there is no always understanding that you just not should assign the person, because they just said, okay, just open the list and take 2 persons. No, I took 30 minutes talking to people that I thought might be interesting. Yes, and I found the 2 guys that are really motivated to do this. They really like it, and give them this name. And this is to my guys somewhere close to the east, clearing the stuff. Yeah, and they are really happy now. They like the job. I didn't put just 2 guys on from the list. I actually spent time to find the ones that are interested. Or another example of how orders or things are happening in the army is give me 1 person from each battery that will be a medical instructor, yeah, without medical education. So they will be trained like for months, etc. And deadline right now. And you can see I put smile, yeah, because it's the same story. Yes, deadline right now. Just give me 1 person that will be medical instructor. Yeah, medical instructor is actually quite a risky job. This is a target number 1 together with commander on a field, medical instructor and commander. So yeah, the same story. I didn't do right now. I spent probably a day, and I didn't bother that someone was mad that I didn't give it right now. But I found people that persons that really like it. Or it might be that we are moving away somewhere in half a day during the night. Be ready for him. So yeah, just to show you that this is a chaotic. Now it's not March, it's July, almost August. There is less of chaotic things. And I didn't like these chaotic things. I didn't like these reactive things. So what I worked since March, I worked on this. I wanted to move from react to proact. I hate when I every 5 minutes needs to change my plan, etc. So I will tell you what I used in order to move to having more proactive time, less reactive time. Even I couldn't imagine in March that I could sit for 1 hour here and give a talk, yes, without disturbance. I hope without disturbance. So yeah, so how I did it. I liked this quote from from William, that my thought of the day, between command and control there is always an option, and the army is a command and control. When I came to the army, a lot of like higher rank officers tried to explain me that I need to command and control and it shouldn't be soft, etc. But I knew that this is not going to work. Yeah. And he's asking, what is your option to move away from command and control? And I think everybody will have different options, and they will be probably all right, because it depends on the person, on your experience, on your history, and also on your circumstances where you are. So my option was to enable leadership on every level, and every level I mean squad, platoon, and then battery, so squad and platoon. And I choose to do it via 3 things. So providing clarity, I will explain more what does it mean, creating psychological safe environment, and raising competence. And all of these three things helped to enable leadership. I should not say that I have leadership on every level. No, it's a hard job. I have some of the things that I delegate it fully, yes, but still a lot of things that I would like to delegate. So let's look at provide clarity. Provide clarity via common task board. Okay, for you it might think, oh, come on, it's so simple, but believe me, it was just revolution for some of the guys. A Trello board, all tasks clear, so all tasks on the same page, some of them with the deadlines, if they're really important to be done at this date, etc. They can see who done what and take a knowledge, like you can see a picture right here, so they can look, okay, how they made this report, etc. So this was a revolution. Also, we have these memories, the first column, and this is where not memories, sorry, guidelines, where we put some important stuff which is yeah, important for us, and we are adding it during the time. So yeah, so we made a common task board, and this is where platoon leaders and me are working, and also some of the officers that are helping me in different directions of the battery. Good. Then information radiators. Yeah, it's not really fancy. It's at all time. You should understand that even having a printer is already a privilege. And so they are not fancy, but what is important is that they are sharing some information. This information is open for everybody in the battery, 100 and something man. And yeah, I blur it a bit. So yeah, the sensitive information. What I looked in the army, that there is a lot of secret information that should not be shared, and it for sometimes it looks like commanders, they think more information they know and others don't, they look like have more power, and I didn't like it, because then you're getting a bottleneck and then you're just asked every minute about something. So we provided a lot of information that we think is okay to share, and it is shared anyway. Yeah, and this is the examples of, so we have like boards, a visualization with some information radiators, yes, that radiates information. We also have refrigerators, information refrigerators. This is for platoon leads only. The reason I started to do this, so this is a huge table with a lot of information on each soldier in the battery. And the reason I started to do it, because in the army, you need to do a lot of reports every day. And whenever a new data is asked, we are adding it. And then previously it was like a battery lead who had to do all these reports. Now platoon leads can simply go there, add, update information, add new information, do a pivot table, create a report in 5 minutes, etc. Yeah, so this is also helps to provide clarity, and then it helps them to take decisions as well, because they know quite a lot of information. It's not just on my computer somewhere. And we have short feedback loop. So we have daily so stand-ups. Yes, I remember some teams, they are like they don't like, oh, we have stand-up every day, etc. Okay, guys, we have twice a day, in the morning quite early, 6 something, and in the late evening, 9 something. So demo retro and planning on a daily basis. There is no need to do it on a higher period horizon. Yes, things are changing every day. We are not doing it like demo retro and planning every day. It depends on the periods and number of tasks. If like we have a lot of things going on, then we can see. Then there was a period where we did it for a month in a row. Then every week I visit each platoon. As you remember, units are distributed. So yeah, and that is why I asked to help with donation for the car. And I'm super happy that Roxander is here, because Roxander helped a lot to buy a car for our battery. So it's easier to visit each platoon every week, yes, and talk to them, not just to be on the phone. And everybody, 100 something men, have my phone number. They can call me at any time. So feedback loop is working, and it's provide clarity. So they understand what is going on. Whenever they have problems or questions, we have mechanism where we can get answers on these questions. And proper communication. The biggest problem in our army is poor communication. Maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest. The reason is that quite often we got what to do and not why. Yes, maybe there is a fear that if they say why, then the information will go outside. It might be, yes, but when they say what, it's not clear how to do it and why we need to do it and in what way to do it. I just provide 5 items that I am okay to share. For example, it was take a pic of all soldiers today. Okay, why? Is it for a passport? Is it for military document? Is it just that you know how they look, or why? Yes, or write autobiography? Yes. Okay. Again, for what purpose? How detailed, etc. So when you explain why, then it's clear, and then we can do a better task. Or give your vehicles registration numbers. Okay, why you need it? Because you would like to take all our vehicles from our battery, so we don't have them, or yeah, should we really give these numbers, etc. So I'm trying, and so whenever I have an order, something to do, I'm asking why we need to do it, and yeah, my commander sometimes hates me because I ask a lot of questions, and yeah, but I think they will love me sometime. So I keep on asking stupid questions. Why? Okay, so psychological safety. Yeah, probably this is how we see it in the army. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You just say it in order they forget about you, stop shouting and go away. Yes, and this is not really psychological safety. And probably you have heard that according to Google research, psychological safety is #1 factor for having high-performing team. And this is the same in the army. If you do not have psychological safety, then you as a leader will not know about some problems until these problems will be a disaster. So yeah, so working on psychological safety, it is too hard in the army. It is hard in the IT, it is harder in the army. So how I explain it that if we have mistakes, we should not find blame. We should not blame people like the same we do in blameless retrospectives. We just need to learn. Yes, and as I said, it is hard in psychological safety in the army environment, but for me it's easier for 2 reasons. First, I do not biased with how to do in the army knowledge. I'm not I have not been grown in the army. Yes, so I have knowledge how it can be done in different way, that you simply just not shout at people or men that made a mistake, but actually talk to them in a quiet voice to understand what are the learnings and what we need to change in order in other units as well, not to have this problem. As we know, a problem not in the people but in the system. And the second, I do not care about my career in the army. Whenever someone shout at me or whatever, I just simply can say, you can quit me, just fire me. Yeah, but they cannot do this. So yeah, and it doesn't mean that I'm not caring. As in Turn the Ship Around book, David McConnell says, caring but not caring about your stuff but not caring about organizational consequences to yourself. Yeah, this is that is why it's easier for me to do, because I do not plan to be a general in the army. So how I explain psychological safety, I just put this one question. Yes, to make it simpler to understand. What are the learnings we can take from the situation? Yes, and this is the man that after some event talking about learnings, yes, and what we need to do differently. And we have changed quite a lot of procedures officially and officially. So to avoid these mistakes, yes. So this is what we do. We are trying to focus on learnings, but I said it depends on the events that happen. Sometimes it's difficult.